So, welcome to this Where Did the Road Go / Strange Familiars update show, I guess. I don't think to do these things because I'm always in the mindset of radio, so I don't think to do updates, like short little updates like this. But there's a lot of stuff that's changing, and I guess we're going to Tim and I here, Mr. Timothy Renner, who does Strange Familiars, are going to talk about what's going on. So, Tim, you want to start?
Yeah. So a lot is happening at once, which may lead to confusion. Yeah. So I thought we better address it. So we're separating our YouTube channels, not through any. There's no bad blood between us or anything like that.
It's not voluntary.
Right. YouTube, for some reason, they think one of us is copying the other one and putting up unoriginal content.
Yeah. Well, you tried to monetize your channel, and they told you you had unoriginal content, and it's all your stuff. And at the same time that they told you that, they suddenly demonetized mine, saying that I was uploading stuff that wasn't mine. So our natural conclusion is that when you tried to monetize yours, they did a scan of YouTube and found your stuff on my channel. And instead of giving me an option to prove that, no, I have permission for this, they just demonetized me and wouldn't let me talk to them.
Right, yeah.
So I've had to remove, unfortunately, all the Strange Familiars. I pulled off Steph Young's stuff, not that she's doing that anymore. But all you're going to find on the Where Did the Road Go YouTube channel is Where Did the Road Go stuff. But you will find Strange Familiars on the website still.
Right. And if you want to listen to Strange Familiars on YouTube, it's still there. It's just at the Strange Familiars channel.
Right. So go subscribe to Tim.
Right. Now, at the same time this is happening, I've had to move my website host because I was running out of bandwidth every month at the website I was using. It's kind of a good problem to have. Just means a lot more people were subscribing to the podcast, but I can't have it. Like, I can't have the last week or whatever it was of every month where people can't access it. So I'm moving to Podbean, which they don't monitor bandwidth. They don't meter it. So it's completely unlimited, and that problem won't happen. But the feed is changing. Now, I have forwarded the feed in iTunes. I've resubmitted the feed to Stitcher, and hopefully that'll take care of it. But I have heard some horror stories from other podcasts where people, the feed didn't forward for whatever reason, and people thought they weren't doing podcasts anymore. Yeah. So I want to get the word out to everybody that I'm still doing podcasts right now, every other week for shows for everyone come out. Hopefully soon we'll do a weekly, but for now we're going to stay with that every other week schedule. So if you don't see them pop up wherever you subscribe, you might have to resubscribe to Strange Familiars.
And you're also going to be adding a true crime thing.
We're doing a sort of a series within a series. So it'll come up as part of the regular Strange Familiars thing, but we are doing a series, a true crime series called The Broken Circle, which will be part of, it'll be part of the regular Strange Familiars.
Nice. All right. What else is changing? Well, there's not so much changing on where did the road go, other than Strange Familiars no longer being part of the YouTube channel, which is frustrating. I liked having it on there.
Yeah, and it was good having more ears on it. Like, that was the idea when I started. To just get as many ears on the podcast as possible, which is a great help starting out.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And I will be on your iTunes feed. So if you're subscribed to Where Did the Road Go and you're used to getting Strange Familiar that way, you should still get Strange Familiars that way. That shouldn't change.
And with everything that's happened in the last month, I'm behind on putting the Strange Familiars up. I'm behind in pretty much everything in my life. Because first we got massive flooding here, and we're high up. I talked about this on the Fringe News show. It's not a place that floods, so we weren't prepared for it, and it did a lot of damage. And I'm continuing to find damage. For instance, my electric bill went through the roof, and I don't know why, but I'm assuming it's because the electrical boxes were underwater and not they didn't trip for whatever reason. So they probably were shorting out and pulling electrical current through that we weren't actually using, and I don't really know if the electric company is going to care. But it almost tripled my electric bill. At a time where I'm short on money to begin with. I've had a lot of help especially from the Where Did the Road Go community, which I appreciate to no end. And I hate asking for help, period. And hopefully I'll be able to get through everything without asking for more. But, if people want to help out, please do, because I could definitely use it. My mom passed away we were still cleaning up from the flooding. She dropped dead right before me from what they think was a blood clot. And that was definitely one of the worst things that's ever happened to me. So still kind of getting over that, like moment to moment. If I can keep myself distracted, I'm doing better than if I don't. But it just pops up into my head at bad points.
Sure.
So it's kind of slow going. So, we had almost regularly 2 shows a week. There's still going to be at least 1. And we'll get back up to the 2 and sometimes 3 once things start calming down a little bit. But I have a lot of debt to deal with now, too. And one of the things that struck me when all this was happening, when they were trying to resuscitate my mom, and she was gone before they even got here to do anything. But when I had Penny Sartori on a couple of years ago, and I don't remember if she talked about it in the podcast or just in her book, but she talked about how it's almost barbaric to try and resuscitate people at a certain point. And they're trying to resuscitate my mom, and I'm pretty sure if they could have, she would have had a broken back. She probably would have had crushed rib cage, broken sternum. She was 80 years old. And I said to them, I'm like, I think you can stop. And she's like, we're not allowed to stop until we've done 20 minutes.
Wow.
And I'm like, it's almost just morbid at a certain point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Penny had said, it's the way that we fear death. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, I totally understand, because apparently she saw this happen to like an 80 or 90-year-old woman in the hospital, and they like crushed her ribs and her sternum, and I think they resuscitated her, but she was in incredible pain.
Right.
And she's like, is it worth it? Are we so afraid of death that, this is what we do? So probably better that they couldn't resuscitate her, because it would not have been pleasant if they did. She went painlessly and quick. With me right there, I guess that's the best I could have asked for.
Mm-hmm.
It just made me feel completely helpless. But obviously I'm continuing. I didn't, a lot of people thought that I might not do shows for a while, but I don't think it helps to dwell on things. I think it helps to distract yourself and just keep going. And, if I had the ability to ask her and say, what do you want me to do? She would say, keep going,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think as a creative person, it's part of the process too. You know what I mean? You just keep creating,
So, things will continue. If anyone wants to help out, I definitely would appreciate it. It's going to be a rough next few months as I get things settled. And so many people have already helped. It's really incredible to me. And I don't even know how to thank everyone for what they've done for me. Both friends and people I've never met who are just listeners who just threw me money. And every bit of it has gone to good use. And hopefully I'll be able to dig myself out of all this mess. And like I said, I'm still finding flooding damage. The alternator in my car went. We had to replace a lot of the electrical stuff in the basement. And, I'm thinking, okay, these circuits aren't very expensive. Well, they add up, and I ended up paying almost $400 to replace half the circuits.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it wasn't all of them. And I can't imagine what it would have taken to rewire everything. But I've also noticed, like, the door to my store is completely deteriorated along the bottom, which I did not notice. So now I need to pull that whole thing out and fix that. The whole back end of my store got destroyed, just rotted out. So it's like, as I go, I keep finding more things where I'm like, oh, great. Luckily, I know people who can help me with this stuff without charging me a fortune, but it's overwhelming. You look around and you see all these, it's like, oh, there's that. I didn't notice that before,
Right.
So, but thank you to everyone who has helped. It means the world to me. And I am also, once I get things a little more settled, going to be hopefully starting a fictional podcast. And I have some ideas on what we're going to do. It'll probably be more anthology-based at first, at least. maybe with some continuing stories within it. Still working out some of the details. I have a couple people who are interested in working on it, so hopefully we'll have something kind of creepy and weird on the fiction front coming up in the next couple of months.
Nice.
That's another creative outlet that I've just enjoyed fictional podcasts so much, and I'm like, I have all these stories and I have all this stuff. I just want to try my hand at it and see if people like it. So that will be, we'll talk about that more as it gets closer to actually happening.
All right.
So,
one more thing I forgot to mention. So strangefamiliars.com is going to point to the Podbean site. That's in the process of being moved also. That's another thing that's happening all at the same time. So if for some reason people can't find the feed wherever they're looking and they can't find strangefamiliars.com because it's in the process of being moved, it's strangefamiliars.podbean.com. That's the direct to the Podbean site. But hopefully by the time this airs, but who knows when, if not by the time this airs, very soon, strangefamiliars.com will point to Podbean anyway, so it won't be an issue. But I just wanted to mention it just in case people are looking for it and they can't find us.
And as we said, for the time being, people should go subscribe to you on YouTube anyway. They go up on YouTube. You post the stuff before I post it on Where Did the Road Go. So, if they want to hear it first, they should subscribe to you on Podbeam and YouTube and stuff like that. Yeah,
and I mean, it's there's nothing there more than the podcast. It's not like you're going to be getting notifications every day that I've posted a video about what I had for breakfast or anything like that. It's just the podcast.
All right, so that's our update, and should probably do these more regularly just to let people know what's going on. So we both have Patreons. If you want to help out, join the Patreons. We both have shops. You have T-shirts and, of course, all your music from Stone Breath. And I have T-shirts, one of which was designed by, two that were designed by you, actually.
Yeah.
And one that was done by Jeff Ritzman.
Yes, yeah. And I think we both use TeePublic, right, for that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm super impressed by the quality of their shirts. I'll tell you that. Like I was a little because I'd used some of those other services like them online and was never happy with the product. And these shirts I'm very happy with. I ordered one for myself. I'm like, wow, these are nice.
Not only that, but I'll tell you what. I'm pretty sure it was TeePublic. I saw a shirt I liked, and I said I'm going to order that. And so they had it like for $14 or whatever. So I said, all right, I'm going to grab it. And I got it, and I washed it, and part of the design came off. And I went, well, that's weird. I have a few other shirts from them. That didn't happen. And so I took a picture of it, and I wrote them. And I said, hey, I washed this once, and this happened. And they immediately responded, and they apologized, and they shipped me another shirt overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So they definitely stand behind their stuff. And the second one was fine.
Right, yeah. I think they, every now and then, you know what? Every now and then you get a silkscreen, T-shirt that does the same thing, like from a band or something. It's just there's just every now and then you get one that's just a flop for whatever reason.
Yeah, exactly. So, but they're a good company. That impressed me how quickly, they didn't argue with me. They didn't give me a hard time. They're just like, we're really sorry. Keep that one. We'll send you another one. It'll be in the mail immediately. Yeah.
So, and I've ordered banners from them. I got a banner for behind my table when I do paranormal conventions. Mm-hmm. A big banner of one of my designs from them. It's awesome. I mean, everything I've gotten from them has been awesome.
All right. Cool. Well, I guess that concludes our update.
Alrighty.
Thanks, Tim.
Sure thing.